When a man is truly emotionally attached to a woman, it is not just about attraction or fleeting desire. It is a deep, unspoken bond that flows through every word he says, every action he takes, and every silent thought he holds about her. Emotional attachment is the kind of connection that cannot be faked, cannot be forced, and cannot be ignored because it roots itself into the very core of a man's heart, influencing the way he interacts with the world around him, but most importantly, the way he interacts with her. You will notice it in the smallest things he does, the little messages he sends to check if she's okay, the way he remembers details that even she might have forgotten, the way he anticipates her needs without her ever asking, and the way he becomes restless when he knows she is going through something difficult. It is in these subtle gestures that his true feelings shine, because when a man is emotionally invested, he doesn't need to shout about it or display it for the world to see. His attachment is quiet, persistent, and deeply sincere. He will prioritize her happiness over convenience, he will bend his schedule just to be there for her, he will offer comfort when the world seems harsh, and he will celebrate her victories as if they were his own. Emotional attachment drives a man to pay attention to the nuances of her moods, to notice the quiet shifts in her expressions, and to respond with empathy and care, even when no one else notices. When she is sad, he feels the echo of her sorrow. When she laughs, he carries that joy with him long after the moment has passed. He listens, not just to reply but to truly understand, to absorb her words and emotions, to imprint them onto his heart. This is why, when a man is emotionally attached, he will always do this one thing. He will make sure she never feels alone, even in the moments when the world around her seems indifferent, even in moments when she doubts her worth, even when she herself cannot articulate her own pain or fear. He becomes her silent guardian, her unseen support, the steady presence in the background that assures her, even without words, that she is valued, that she is understood, and that she is cherished. You might see him remembering her favorite things, recalling small details from conversations that happened weeks or months ago, noticing when something has changed in her routine, or simply sending a message to ask how her day went, not because he is obligated to, but because she genuinely matters to him. Emotional attachment is not possessiveness or control. It is a selfless commitment to care for her, to value her emotions, to respect her boundaries, and to act in ways that prioritize her well-being without expecting recognition or reward. When a man is emotionally invested, even silence becomes meaningful. His thoughts linger on her, his heart pulls toward her, and even in the quietest moments she is present in his mind. He will think about her when she is not around, worry about her challenges, and take pride in her accomplishments. He will want her to feel safe, loved, and empowered, because her emotional state becomes intertwined with his own sense of purpose and happiness. And this is why a man's emotional attachment is so powerful, because it is not superficial, it is not temporary, it is not dependent on convenience or circumstance. It is a deep, enduring connection that drives him to consistently show, through words, actions, and subtle gestures, that she is the most important part of his world. He will send a message in the middle of a busy day just to remind her she is on his mind. He will pick up on changes in her tone or energy and respond with care. He will quietly advocate for her well-being even when she is unaware. And yet, he does not do this for recognition or praise. He does it because he is emotionally connected in a way that becomes instinctive, natural, unavoidable. When he sees her struggling, he cannot help but offer support. When he sees her smile, he cannot help but feel a warmth in his own heart. He will forgive her mistakes more easily, not because he ignores them, but because he understands that emotional attachment creates patience and compassion that transcends momentary frustrations. He will remember the words she said in passing, the moments that seemed trivial, the feelings she never voiced aloud, and he will hold them close as sacred pieces of her inner world, showing that her emotions matter to him more than any external validation could. Emotional attachment also makes him protective, not in a possessive or controlling way, but in a way that reflects care, loyalty, and a desire to ensure that she is treated with respect and kindness by the world around her. He will notice if someone hurts her feelings, if she is taken for granted, or if her value is underestimated, and he will respond in ways that show he is paying attention, that he is present, and that he is willing to stand by her in moments when she might feel vulnerable or alone. This attachment shapes the way he communicates, not just in grand declarations of love, but in the quiet, meaningful ways he demonstrates that he is invested. Remembering birthdays, recalling dreams she has shared, asking about goals, celebrating successes, and consoling disappointments. Even in disagreements, a man who is emotionally attached will approach conflict with care, striving not to win, but to understand and maintain the bond he shares with her. When he cannot be physically present, he will find ways to bridge the distance, through thoughtful messages, meaningful calls, or gestures that remind her that she is not alone. The essence of emotional attachment lies in consistency. It is the repeated demonstration of care, attention, and concern over time, without expecting reciprocation, without being prompted, simply because she is important to him in a way that goes beyond words. It is also seen in the way he talks about the future. He naturally envisions her in his plans, he considers her preferences and desires in his decisions, and he thinks in terms of we rather than I, reflecting a subconscious commitment that transcends mere romantic interest. When a man is emotionally attached, he will remember anniversaries, important events, and personal milestones, not to impress her, but because he genuinely values the moments that define her life. And even when challenges arise, disagreements, distance, or life's uncertainties, he will continue to demonstrate his attachment, because it is not fragile or conditional. It is grounded in a deep emotional connection that cannot be shaken by temporary circumstances. This is why, if you pay close attention, you can always tell when a man is truly emotionally attached. It is in the little things he does repeatedly, the thoughtful gestures, the moments of presence, the patience he shows, the empathy he embodies, and the way he integrates your happiness into his own. He becomes an anchor in your life, a silent yet powerful presence, a source of comfort, support, and emotional security. And the most remarkable part is that he does all this naturally, without needing to announce it, without performing for anyone, without exaggeration, because when a man is emotionally attached, it is not a conscious effort. It is a part of who he is, a reflection of the depth of his feelings, a manifestation of his love, care, and commitment. No words, no material gesture, and no grand display can match the subtle power of emotional attachment, because it moves in the quiet spaces between conversations. And when a man is emotionally attached, his attachment goes far beyond just thinking about you or missing you. It transforms into a deep, subconscious need to be a part of your life in meaningful ways, to understand your inner world, and to ensure that your emotional well-being is always a priority for him. He pays attention to things that seem trivial to others, like the way you tuck your hair behind your ear when nervous, or how your smile lights up when you hear something funny, or how your eyes look when you are lost in thought, because every detail about you becomes significant, precious, and unforgettable to him. He notices the subtle shifts in your mood, the quiet sighs, the moments when you hold back your words, and he instinctively wants to bridge the emotional gap, even without you saying a thing. When you share a worry, he doesn't just hear the words. He feels the weight of it, imagines the stress you are carrying, and instinctively seeks ways to ease that burden, not to solve it for you but to remind you that you are not alone, that someone sees you, understands you, and is invested in your peace of mind. And even in the moments of distance, whether physical or emotional, his mind is constantly connected to yours. He replays memories, recalls conversations, and anticipates your reactions, and this silent mental presence communicates a love that words alone could never capture. Emotional attachment also manifests in patience, the kind of patience that allows him to accept your moods, your flaws, and your hesitations without frustration, without judgment, and without pressure, because he understands that genuine connection is not about changing you or forcing moments, but about growing together, supporting each other, and valuing each other's individuality. You might notice that he celebrates your growth as if it were his own, encourages your dreams even if they take you to places where he cannot follow, and finds joy in seeing you achieve things that are important to you. This is not just care or friendship. It is an entwined emotional bond that compels him to be present in every facet of your life, even in ways that are invisible to the outside world. He may quietly make sacrifices, adjust his plans, and go out of his way not for recognition, but because your happiness becomes an intrinsic part of his own emotional equilibrium. He will often communicate through actions rather than words, whether it is showing up when he knows you need support, remembering to check in during busy days, or offering comfort during times when no one else notices, and these consistent, thoughtful gestures reveal the depth of his attachment far more than any grand romantic declaration ever could. And when he becomes emotionally attached, he often carries a silent respect for your independence, giving you space when needed but remaining a constant emotional anchor, ready to engage, support, and uplift whenever you reach out or need reassurance. It is this balance of presence and respect, attention and patience, care and understanding, that defines a man who is truly emotionally invested, because he realizes that love is not control, it is connection. It is not possession, it is devotion. It is not expectation, it is commitment. And perhaps the most subtle yet profound way emotional attachment manifests is in the way he thinks about your future together, not in a grandiose sense, but in the way he naturally incorporates your needs, your goals, and your happiness into his long-term vision, imagining a life where both of you thrive, grow, and support each other, quietly building the emotional scaffolding for a bond that is steady, resilient, and enduring. Even in silence, even in absence, even when circumstances test the relationship, his attachment remains unwavering. He continues to observe, reflect, and act in ways that demonstrate his commitment, his care, and his love, because emotional attachment is not momentary or conditional. It is a deep, permanent imprint on his heart, guiding his behavior, his thoughts, and his priorities in ways that you may not always notice immediately, but which leave an undeniable mark on your life and your emotional experience. And this is why, when a man is truly emotionally attached, he will always do this one thing consistently. He will prioritize you, notice you, protect you, and invest in your emotional world, not for recognition, not for gain, not for validation, but because your presence in his life is not just important, it is essential, and your happiness and well-being are inseparably intertwined with his own. Every small act, every thoughtful gesture, every moment of attention is a silent declaration of his attachment, a proof of his devotion, and a demonstration of the unwavering way in which he values you. And when you truly understand this, you realize that emotional attachment is not just about romance or affection. It is about a profound, enduring connection that shapes his thoughts, drives his actions, and defines the way he exists in the world in relation to you. It is a bond that words cannot fully capture, that gestures can only hint at, and that is experienced most deeply in the quiet, consistent, and meaningful ways he shows up in your life, every single day. When a man is emotionally attached, there is a subtle intelligence in the way he connects, a kind of emotional awareness that goes beyond superficial gestures or fleeting romance, because true attachment is rooted in understanding, empathy, and unwavering care, and it manifests in ways that are often invisible to those who are not paying close attention. He learns your patterns, your moods, and your unspoken cues, noticing the smallest shifts in energy or tone, and he adapts his actions accordingly, not to manipulate or control, but to comfort, support, and align with your emotional state. He becomes attuned to your silences, your pauses, and the things you leave unsaid, recognizing that often the most meaningful messages are conveyed without words. And yet, even in his attentiveness, there is a gentle restraint, a respect for your space and autonomy, because emotional attachment does not seek to possess, it seeks to connect and coexist. When he is emotionally invested, he will remember the little details that matter most to you. The phrases that make you laugh, the stories that reveal your fears, the dreams that ignite your passion, and he will carry these in his heart as if they were treasures, quietly using them to create moments that show he truly sees you. He notices when you hesitate, when you doubt yourself, or when you feel vulnerable, and he steps in subtly, offering reassurance and care without overstepping, without demanding gratitude, because for him, your well-being is reward enough. Emotional attachment also shows in his consistency, in the way he shows up repeatedly, even when circumstances are inconvenient, even when he is tired or busy, because the bond he feels compels him to be present, to maintain connection, and to nurture the relationship in ways that are steady and reliable. He may not always verbalize his feelings, he may not always openly declare his love, but every action, every gesture, every thought directed toward your happiness is a reflection of the depth of his attachment. When conflicts arise, he approaches them with patience and understanding, seeking resolution that preserves connection rather than winning arguments, because he values the emotional bond over ego or pride. And in moments of silence, of absence, or of separation, his mind remains with you, replaying memories, anticipating your needs, and imagining your emotional state, because emotional attachment is not confined to proximity, it transcends physical distance and lingers in thoughts, intentions, and heartbeats. He will often go out of his way to create security, not just physical but emotional, making sure you feel heard, validated, and supported, reinforcing that you are never alone, even when life challenges you in unexpected ways. Subtle acts like sending a message to check on you, recalling a shared memory, offering comfort when you are low, celebrating your achievements quietly, or simply being mentally present while respecting your independence, all demonstrate a depth of feeling that cannot be faked or forced. And perhaps most importantly, when a man is emotionally attached, he internalizes your happiness and pain as if they were his own, because attachment is not about external performance or appearance. It is about a deep, internalized connection that guides his thoughts, emotions, and behaviors consistently. He will anticipate moments when you need support without asking, remember things that are important to you even if they seem minor, and take actions that reflect an intuitive understanding of your emotional landscape. He will celebrate your joys with genuine delight, comfort your sorrows with compassion, and stand silently in the background, ensuring that the foundation of your emotional security is never shaken. Emotional attachment transforms ordinary interactions into meaningful exchanges. A simple phone call becomes reassurance, A shared meal becomes an act of care, a text message becomes a reminder that you are not alone, and every thought and gesture is colored by his investment in your well-being. And even when you are unaware of his thoughts, even when you question his feelings, even when life pressures test his patience and commitment, his attachment remains unwavering, persistent, and quietly powerful. It is this unwavering presence, this silent vigilance, and this consistent care that forms the invisible thread connecting him to you, creating a bond that is resilient, enduring, and profoundly meaningful. He does all of this not for recognition, not for reward, not for ego, but because your emotional state is inextricably tied to his own sense of purpose, his sense of care, and his need to nurture the connection he feels. And this is the subtle truth that many overlook. When a man is emotionally attached, he will always do this one thing. He will ensure that you feel valued, understood, safe, and loved in ways that are quiet, consistent, and profound, leaving an imprint on your heart and mind that endures far beyond any spoken word or fleeting romantic gesture. Because true emotional attachment is a silent, powerful force that shapes every thought, every action, and every moment of connection in ways that are deeply felt, profoundly transformative, and impossible to ignore.